Hello students, in this video I am going to go through some examples on how to write the equation for a hyperbola if given a set of vertices and a set of coordinates for the foci. So let's take a look. Alright, so for all these examples, okay, in this exercise, as you notice, maybe or maybe not notice, but I'm going to point it out to you, the vertices, okay, are oriented horizontally, which means that the hyperbola, all of them are going to be oriented, opening up left and right. So all of the shapes of the hyperbolas will follow this kind of shape, where you have the asymptotes going through there, and it's all going to be centered at the origin. So really quickly, okay, let's just recap what the equation of hyperbola was, okay? Centered at the origin, it will be x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. And something needs to be said about the b, what b is meant. B is actually the difference of the foci squared minus the vertex squared. Okay? So this needs to be, you need to be mindful of this as you go through the exercise in this, as you go through the different problems in this exercise. So let's take a look at what we can do. So I know that immediately the equation is x squared over some value of a squared plus y squared, minus some value of y squared, minus y squared over some value of b squared. So now I got to figure out what is a and what is b. Well, a can easily be figured out because a, if you remember from the graph, right, a is just simply that vertex. It's negative a comma 0, and this is positive a comma 0. So immediately I know what a is. A has to be 13. Now the question is, what is b? Well, b is the difference of, b squared is c squared minus a squared, and c is located over here. It's on the inside of the hyperbola. So this should be plus c, not minus c. So having this understanding, or this visual understanding of it, I can now figure out what b is, right? Because c is equal to square root of 194. So therefore, b squared is equal to c squared. So it's going to be square root of 194 squared minus a squared. So square root of 194 squared is 194 minus 13 squared is 169. If I subtract 194 by 169, what is that? I can't do mental math. That's my Achilles heel. So 194 minus 169, that is 25. Yes, it is 25. So b squared is equal to 25. So if b squared is equal to 25, this is really 25 then. Or you can think of it as 5 squared. Whichever way, it's all the same thing. So in other words, this is x squared over 169, right? And it's equal to 1. This is the equation of the hyperbola being described by those set of conditions there. Let's try to do this one more time. Let's do it with this one. Actually, let's do it with something a little more challenging. Let's do question 8. All right. So again, the vertex, okay, is located at 12, 0 and negative 12, 0, which means what does that mean? Well, that means again the hyperbola is horizontally oriented. So the center, again, is going to be 0, 0. I know that the equation is x squared over some quantity of a squared minus y squared over some quantity of b squared equal to 1. A, okay, is just the distance between the vertex and the center. In this case, it's 12. So it's 12 squared. Now I got to figure out what is b. And in this case here, you're not given a set of foci, but instead you're given the slopes of the asymptotes. So what are we to do with this? Well, I know that the slope of the asymptote is equal to b over a, and this guy over here is negative b over a. So wait a minute, if I know b over a is equal to 7/12, and I know a is equal to 12, what must b equal to? B must equal to 7. How do I know a is equal to 12? Well, that's because of this guy right there, right? So therefore, b must equal to 7 squared. Or b is just equal to 7, rather. Okay? And that's the equation of that hyperbola. Let's try another question, maybe just slightly more challenging. But they're all about the same here. Actually, this one. Yeah, let's do this one. So I want to erase this, actually. All right, so one more time. Okay, so in this case here, I have, again, the equation is x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. A is just the distance between the vertex and the center. So that means a must equal to 12. So it's x squared over 12 squared minus y squared over b squared. And what exactly is b? Well, b in this case, right, because you're given the asymptotes, is plus or minus x here, right? Or in other words, m is equal to 1 or negative 1. And this is equal to plus or minus b over a. Well, what is b in this case, right? So if I know that b over a is equal to 1, and I know that a is equal to 12, what would make b, right? So b over 12 is equal to 1. B, therefore, must also equal to 12. So therefore, the equation of the the hyperbola is x squared over 12 squared minus y squared over 12 squared equal to 1. Let's do one or maybe another example. I want to copy this. And we'll go over to another app because I'll need more room. So I'll go over here. I want to clear all of this. And I am going to insert that image that I just made, or that I just captured. And that's this guy right there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the equation of the hyperbola based on that general conic equation. And I'm going to move this down. Okay. All right, so just like before, okay, involving the ellipse, okay, I will need to perform completing the square. So I'm going to move, So I'm going to move all the x's together. I'll make this a little thicker. So I want to bring all the x's together, and I'm going to bring all the y's together. And I'm going to bring all the other constants to the other side, which is 36 here. All right, so now that I have this, okay, what I want to do, okay, is I want to complete the square. But before I do, okay, I notice that there's a negative in front over here. I'm going to factor that out, okay? So I get x squared minus 20x plus something, and then minus 4, okay, because there's a common factor of 4 there. So I have y squared minus 6y. Okay? I'm going to attempt to complete the square based on this now. So completing the square on the first term in the parentheses there, okay, I will need to half the middle coefficient and square it. So that will be 100. I will do the same thing on the second set, okay. I'm going to half the middle term, half the middle coefficient and square it, and that will be 9. And on the right-hand side, okay, I need to balance the equation, so I will need to add 100. And then at the same time there, if you notice, okay, I'm not adding 9, I'm actually subtracting by 36, because if I distribute the -4, I will get -36. So what I need to do then is, I'm not adding 36, I'll need to subtract 36. Okay, so with that said, the right-hand side simplifies to 100. The left-hand side becomes x minus 10 quantity squared minus 4y minus 6, no, y minus 3 quantity squared in that form. And I'm almost done. Divide both sides by 100. I get x minus 10 quantity squared over 100 minus y minus 3 quantity squared over 25 equal to 1. This is the equation of the hyperbola. I'm going to do this again with the second equation down here. Let me get rid of this. All right, so similarly, I'm going to write out 9x squared. I'm going to separate out all the x's and all the y's. And I get negative 25y squared minus 50y equal to negative 326. I want to factor out a negative 25 from the second half, so I get minus 25 y squared plus 2y plus something. And then I want to factor out 9 on the first half, so I get x squared plus 9 does not go into 144 completely, okay? However, it does go in, let me see here, 144 divided by 9. I take that back, it does go in completely. It's 16. So it's 16x plus, I'm going to attempt to complete the square now. I'm going to take the middle coefficient, half it, and then square it. So half of 16 is 8, square that is 64. Half of 2 is 1, square it is 1. I am going to need to add to the other side. I'm going to get rid of this stuff over here because it's distracting. I'm going to add on the other side 9 times 64. And I'm going to subtract by 25, because if I distribute the negative 25, I'm really subtracting 25 from both sides, right? So this on the on the right-hand side, I get negative 326 plus 9 times 64 minus 25. 9 times 64 minus 25. I got 225. And then on the on the left-hand side, I got 9, open parentheses, x plus 8, quantity squared, minus 25 times y plus 1, quantity squared. Divide both sides by 225. I get 9 times x plus 8, quantity squared, over 225, minus 25, y plus 1, squared over 225 equal to 1. You can actually technically leave your answer like this, okay? But if you want to rewrite this and make the A and B look a little more explicit, okay? It's 225 divided by 9, right? Minus y plus 1, quantity squared. 25 goes into 225 how many times? It goes in 9 times. So it's going to be 9, right? You can certainly write it like that. But either case, it's the same thing. All right.